Hey guys, welcome back. It is Monday, a new week, and I'm so glad to be back here. It feels like I haven't been in here in forever, but I'm here. And what am I doing today? Well, I want to make a black and white cane. So I've got a couple of black and white strips that I've made without you guys, because it's pretty boring, right? And yeah, we've been working on taxes for a week now. I'm almost done, but I just needed a break. And so that's what I'm doing, is taking a break. So I'm not going to throw a whole bunch of elements into this cane. I always say that cane. But I will kind of tell you what I'm using so that you guys don't follow along, because who knows if I'll change my mind. But so that you guys know what I'm doing. So I am going to make a big block of black and white. Just something very simple. No Skinner blend. Just black and white. And these are going to be petals, I think. And so I'm going to want at least, I don't know, at least 4 of them. So I should be okay with this amount, I'm hoping. I also took black and white clay at the thickest setting, and I made a nice little chunk for us to work with. And I took black and white here. I started at the thickest setting, and then on this I put it through the pasta machine at a number 2 so that it was easy to wrap up. Okay, and we're gonna make a nice little swirl or 2. It's a little smaller than I wanted, but... And really quick, before I close that up, I like to bevel the inside so that the black will lay down instead of the white. Okay? So that's what I've got so far. It is Monday. Mondays are usually my busiest days with orders. So I may have to get up every now and then just to check on a couple more prints that I've got. But I didn't want to wait because I've got some alone time to get this done. And so I wanted to have that. Okay, so what we're going to do first... Oh, you know what I just thought of? See, this is what I do. These would be cute little flower tops, I think. I don't know. We may do that. So I like working at 1.5 inches. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. And then I'm thinking, like I said, that I've got enough of this. If not, I'll probably have to make more. I first started with this big old white chunk, and thank God I didn't wrap it yet, because then I realized I didn't need the white chunk. I needed black, because the cane's pretty much going to be outlined in white regardless. So this is strictly going to be black and white. So I'm just going to run this through the pasta machine. And it doesn't really matter what thickness you go, especially if you're going to have white surround it. So I'm just doing a number 2. Just to wrap it. This is all Sculpey Premo. Which is basically all I use. Sometimes I'll use souffle, but not often. And souffle is beautiful. I don't know why I don't use it more. It's just a lot easier to make canes with it because it doesn't stick to everything. And yeah, I got this little piece that needs something. Oop. So I think this cane, 1, 2, 3, It may end up being a 3-inch cane. I think I can handle a 3-inch cane. So if I do 4 petals, I really need to turn this around, don't I? Because it's not where it should be. It's a little backwards, but I've got so much stuff on the back end of this board that I really didn't want to clean it up. But I guess it kind of forces me to at least push it off, and then I can deal with it later. There. I don't know why, but seeing the numbers right here seems to help a lot. Alright, so this, we're not going to roll like this because I don't want any of that to get sucked in. So I'm just going to pull this. And obviously, like I said, if we're going to do 1, 2, 3, these can't be huge. So I think half of this size will be the perfect size to use. And yes, we do have some air bubbles in here. So let's nip those in the butt now. So if I like 1.5 inches, and I want 4 of these, God, I'd really like to do 6. So that would be 3, 6, that would be 9 inches. So I don't know how small these will get, but I think it'll be okay. So whatever size you guys want. Some of you might want to make this bigger, maybe you want to make it smaller, but I think 9 inches will be okay. And then I'll probably pause in order to get some white clay conditioned to fill up all the spots here. Okay, so we're about 9 inches. I want to make it pretty even. Okay, and then cut off the ends, obviously. Alright. So again, I'm going to do 1.5. And this might be too big. We'll see. Alright, and we're going to shape these into a leaf. Okay, this is going to be our center. And if it is too big, then we can literally just use 4 of them. Okay. So I kind of want them like staggered a little bit. And then we'll have to put a stem. And I haven't decided yet whether I want to do a solid stem or if I want to take this stripe and put a stripe stem. But I think I'm going to go solid, because I'm going to use the stripes on the side. And they won't stand out as much if I do them together. Okay, I have 1 print that stopped, so that's good. I have 4 that's going right now. Alright, so let's see if that was our triangle, right? This is going to be that top end to it. Yep, I think we can do all 6. So that'll go like that. Okay, so we really need to get our center done, and that way we can get an idea how these are going to hang. I mean, I can literally put white in the middle of this, but something's telling me to just go solid black. And that's 2 prints done. So I am going to condition this, and I'm going to go check on the other ones in the other room. And hopefully I can get this last order out, and then there's no interruptions, except for my usual interruptions. Okay, so let me go grab those real quick, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, so I've got this at a... What was I going to do with this? I'm sorry, guys. My daughter texted me. She may call me in a minute, so I may not be able to stay on for very long. But yeah, for a moment, I just completely forgot what I needed to do here. So I'm going to make this a little longer or wider, because it's got to be 1.5 inches. And then I don't know if I'm going to double this or not. So we're going to just start right there. All right. That should be long enough. Let me run this through so it looks a little prettier. I've been trying to be good and keep my pasta machine where I'm running the black on one side and the white on one side, and I just messed it up. Alright, so anyways, we have 1.5. Okay. And we're going to go 3 inches to see how long we want to do this, because it's not going to take the whole cane. So I'm going to take another inch off. Okay, and this would be the center. It's a little taller than it should be, but we're just getting an idea anyways of how to put this together. All right. Trying to see how far down I want these to go. All right, so I might have to maneuver this just a little bit. What do we have this at? 2? Take that down about right there. All right, just kind of put it in an S shape. I'm sure if I wrapped it with white, it would help out. I may have to do that, and that'll make it a little stiffer and stand up just a little better. Okay, so now I'm trying to think if I want these to be leafy, if that makes sense, and make the other side a little more pointy. See, I don't like it being straight like that. Okay, but you see how we got the little leaf now. had this all in my mind and it looked really great. But what happens if we decided that we wanted the spiral to be like a big flower? Take those two off. Right? That would have to be a little bigger. Okay, I'm going to make another spiral. Or do I just want to make a flower? So if I just do two, yeah, I'm going to make that one bigger and we'll go from there. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had a very important phone call with my daughter. Okay, so I made a bigger one. Actually, this is still too big. But the more I see it, the more I'm not liking it for some reason. I don't know why. I might end up making a normal flower with petals and then using these somewhere else. And I'll show you before I get anything done here. My leaves are a little funky. Okay, so there is one. And yeah, I kind of want this to, like, you know what I mean? Just kind of be blowing in the wind kind of thing, right? And I don't know, there's just something about this that I don't like. I don't know if it's the placements of the leaves. And I like these where one's up, one's down, one's up, but it doesn't seem to work. Okay, so that's what I was looking at, but I don't like this. I don't know why. I have 6 of these. So let's just say that instead, all right, I know what I'm trying to do. I just can't seem to do it. If I were to make this just a flower, that's a big flower. That's a really big flower. And then maybe doing the same thing with that. But instead, using this around the side. So, how do I put this? Let's see. And I want to make this, I want to cut them even. I'm just going to cut one strip, show you what I'm doing, and if I agree that this one looks better, then that's what we're going to go with. So I have these things that I just started making. So it's kind of like a market tool, but it's not a market tool that's hexagon shape, I guess. I don't know. It's just a weird shape where you do it on top. I like it better that I can lay it down flat. So the side that I want, see, it doesn't matter which side I use. Okay, so I'm just going to do this really quick. And we're just going to put it right there. Okay. And that's a 3mm. I might have to go to a 5. But we're going to just take one strip. And all it's basically doing is cleaning that edge anyways. But if I put that on the side like that, that could be either in the middle and have this as a side and put 2 of these like that, or Yeah, I haven't really laid it on here tight, but I'm just trying to get an idea. I like that. I like that with being in the middle. Okay, so we're going to redo this now. And we're going to make this flower a little smaller. And we're going to use this with the white around it. Okay, so let me come back. I'm just going to make this a little smaller, because if I did want this a 3-inch cane, I mean, this pretty much is taking all of it. And then I might take a couple of these, you know, and put them around the side somewhere of them. And then, I don't know, make a black and white flower just right here on the edge. So I've got the idea. Now I know which direction I'm going. So let me go ahead and cut up a little bit more black, and I promise we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we are back. And what we did was we just wrapped the flower on the outside just to fill in the centers. Then I have 2 pieces here. The flower still may be a little too big. I don't know. But I'm just going to leave it alone. It's already packed, so I don't want to touch it. So I'm going to go back here. I think this is tall enough. Okay. So hold on, let me make sure I got the right side before I start, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to literally put this in the center. And I'm only doing 1. And I'm going to try and get this even all the way down. Look at that. I actually made a strip. Okay, so now I just need a strip of white. So we're going to do that. But we're not going to peel it off of that. I'm just going to grab a strip of white here and put it right on top. And that's about a 3mm. So I'm thinking this is all I need. Okay, just a little piece. Let me make sure. I might have to... Okay, let me take this to a number 1. Okay. So we're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to make sure this is even. Even Steven. And I'm going to set that right in there. And then cut it off about right there. I figured we could stretch this out a little bit if need be. Okay. Could go a little thinner, I think. So we want it this tall, right? But we just want it a little longer and a little thinner. So let me find my brayer. I've been working on all kinds of new cutters. So I've got a horrible looking workbench. Let me just see where we're at now. All right, that looks like it'll work perfect. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit on each end here, just to make sure everything is even. Okay. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to squish it. Just to make it a little more thin. Okay. Right. It's a little too tall. I could just leave it like that, but I want a little bit of movement. Squish that right in there. Now, if I wanted, I could still put a couple of leaves, maybe even just 2, on the sides of that. Okay, so this is going to be the thin edge, obviously, and it's going to be coming down like that. I could make it a square, but I think it'll, I don't know, I think the design will be cool if I make it into a kaleidoscope cane. So let me look at where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, so about right there. All right. And I can always move things around if I want to. So I'm not stuck with this design, basically. I just don't know how big I want this to be. Oh, you know what would look cute? Yep, see, there goes my ADD self there. I mean, that could be the leaf too. That might work. That might work as well. Be nice if we can work in a little box, and that way I know exactly where everything's got to be. Okay, so we're going to cut this at the end. And I want at least 2 of these. And the reason I did that was I wanted to cut this in half. Okay. Those are going to be in the corner right there. Wow, that's going to be a big cane. And this, I'm going to take the end where I squish that top together. And I want to get this to 3 inches. Okay. Okay. Okay, I like that. Okay. So it'd be kind of cool to put another strip and make it like a little swirl coming from here, down, here, and down. So I think I'm going to do that. And then that's it. I think I'm just going to do that to kind of give it something a little bit around here. What would happen if I cut this in half? I'm afraid to cut this tall in half. Let's see if I can do this without destroying it. All right. I don't know, I may not want all these lines in there. I don't want it to be too much. I may just have to do a black and white Skinner blend or something. Because I don't want the outside white, if that makes sense. I mean, I do and I don't. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that top piece. All right, so what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to take 2 black pieces, probably about maybe almost 2 inches, and I need 4 pieces, and I'm going to put some more of the strip in the middle, and we're going to kind of put a little bit around here, like a little swirly cue or something. So that's going to take me a minute. So let me at least get the clay conditioned, and then I'll come back and we'll put it together. See you in a bit. Hey guys, so we are back with some conditioned clay. And I'm going to leave this at the size that it was. Maybe? I don't know. 3mm might be a little wide. So, I mean, this is going to be reduced. So, I think I'd rather go thicker than thinner. Right? I'm just making sure that I'm pulling that same amount on both sides here. Yeah, and as you can see, one side's just a little wider. We don't want that. Okay. And we only need to cover 2 of these. So again, okay, I'm going to have to get right under the camera, so I'm just going to move that just a little bit so that I'm not in your face, basically. Make sure you have a really sharp blade. It'll make all the difference in the world going through it. Oops. So I want that white touching the black. Okay. And we're going to squish this a little bit anyways, so I'm not really worried. So I think I'm going to need about 1.5 on both. So I want to just make sure this is even. I might have to cut from this side and give me a straight piece. So about right there. Okay. That one's a better piece. Now that one might be a little too thin. Oh, the struggle is real. Going slow helps quite a bit. Hi, Makita. It's almost time for the dogs to go for a walk. So they are in here wondering when I'm gonna finish so they can go. Okay, so we just need half of this actually. Okay, just a little thicker. So just gonna run that, take off some of that. Okay, and we'll set it on and then we'll cut it. I think that'll probably be easier. Okay, now I just gotta find where it's cut. I know I don't have you guys in camera view, but I'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, I cut a little bit too long, so I just need to get this piece off. Okay. And I accidentally cut a little piece here. So now we're going to put the other two right on top. So now that's sandwiched right in between. Okay, so we have the height, but I don't want it really thick, and it's really hard to move it around if I want to kind of make it into a design. So that's why I'm just going to thin it out a little bit. Kind of like the other one. Just want to make sure that these are on really tight. Okay, and now we're going to go just a little longer. I don't know how I got it to curve. Oops. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm going to go a little longer. Like I said, I might want this to curve a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to lay it down, and we're just going to use one of these here. To make sure we have it straight. And this is what we want, 1.5 inches tall. Okay. Let's get all this moved over. I'm gonna have a lot of black or a lot of gray clay, aren't I? And we're going to make this even. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got about 5.5 inches. Kind of. So we're going to make this 2 1/4. Whoa. 5.5. Woohoo! So 2 3/4. Okay. Now we're just going to set this wherever. I mean, if I can take this and have it come off like that, would be really cool. Okay, so I'm going to try and have that set up like that just a little bit. And that is where a knitting needle might come in handy here. So I'm going to make sure that this is stuck in that flower like the other half of it, and push that in there. Hopefully it'll stay in there. Okay, do that. Okay, maybe that won't help. I don't know if you can hear a little bit of moaning over there. We're gonna go out soon, guys. Relax. This is all gonna have to be filled with white. So I'm just adding a little bit of white now. And hopefully that'll keep it from moving so much. Right? Okay. And I want this right here. And this right there. Right? Push you over just a little more. Okay, so I'm just deciding whether I want to bring this down a little bit more. All right, I like that right there. It's good enough, right? All right, so now we're going to need a lot of white. And I just go little bits at a time, just so I don't have to throw it through the pasta machine. If I can just roll it. So, I'll flatten it here, because this is what I've got to fill up, is this right there. And I'm going to take one side and make it all nice and pointy. I think that's going to be a little too much. Okay. Will that work? Yes. but no at the same time, because it's leaving me a little hole right there. So I'm going to take this real thin piece. Now it's just the art of filling it up. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. You just need to get all this full. I know I have a pointy edge though. Okay. And then when we turn it over, it could be completely different, right? So always look at the other side when you have it stable enough to do so. So obviously you want both sides to look identical. Okay, I put this through at the thickest setting here. Basically all I'm doing is just trying to fill up right here. Okay, now this looks like I can do a big piece here. Okay. Okay, that can go a little wider. So if you need it wider, all you gotta do is just basically push it down. And I don't need such a pointy top. Okay. And now we're going to do the same with the other side, and this is more of a square. So that's the shape we're going to kind of keep it at. And again, it doesn't really matter how you do this. If you can find an easier way, then do that. Okay, so that's that. So we're just going to turn this around though. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see where this isn't going all the way up into it. And I need it to. Okay, this, we want it to touch the flower. This, if we squish it in, should be good enough. Okay, so that looks all right. And then somewhere along the line, that's going to be the middle of our triangle. Okay, so I got to kind of remember that this is coming out like this. So it'd be nice to use a marker, but I don't dare do that. But coming up about right there. Oh, that's going to be a big cane then. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a square. And then I'm going to cut out areas that I know that I want to use, if that makes sense. Okay, I may need only just one of these. And if I put like a little white ball in here, and we're going to need white on both sides. I don't like that. All right, get you out of my way here. Just kind of make it like a little curly Q. And then this will wrap like an S shape. I don't know why. I just feel like it might be just too boring the way I have it. So now I need to make that same size. So I'm going to take it apart just so I know it's like a little under ½ inch. Because I'm going to need 4 of these. Yeah, I've got all these white pieces. There's a little bit of black on them, but I'm going to try and save as much as I can of it. I've got all these little pieces. I need a bigger desk, but along with the bigger desk comes with bigger messes. It just seems like I never have room to work here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that in half. And I need 3 inches at about ½ inch. Depends how much white you want in the middle. You don't have to make it too small. All right? But you kind of want to make it identical though. So I'll go a little bigger and see if I like it. Okay. So we get that, and that. Oop, almost lost that one. Then we're going to put all that in here. And we're going to do the same. So, I guess another way you can look at this is where in your placement you want this. I know where I want it to go, but I'm wondering if it should touch each other at the ends. Because if you touch it at the ends, then it's going to kind of like flow into the other piece instead of being completely separate on all 4. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. You can do this. And then, I don't know, see what I'm saying is if I want that to touch the end right there, so that when this one connects to the other side, that it's going to basically do the same thing, if that makes sense. So you'll be doing it like this, and it's going to be kind of like this on the other side, which probably wouldn't look too bad. I don't know. I don't want too much. I may not even use this. Right now, I am just playing. I just don't know how busy I want it. So on this side, that's facing out. Okay, so we're going to want it like this. So like I said, it can go out like that, or it can come straight down. But this needs to come out like this. So it might be best to kind of like that. Right. Connect like that. Okay, so there we have it, to where now we just got to put white right here and then have it come down like this. So you've got the one edge to two edge. I was thinking of putting these over on the edges itself, and that way it would have gave me one of these in the corner when they connected. But now I'm thinking of just doing that, although it's smaller than 1.5 inches. All right, I think that's how we're going to leave it. We're going to try it. I mean, I don't know if it's going to look good, look bad, but I think that's what we're going to do. And now we're just going to fill this up with white. I've never made a white and black. I've made a white and black cane, but I've never made white being the dominant color or the outside color. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I've got a mirror here. It's a huge mirror, which is not good. But I'm going to see what would happen, right? And I don't know if I can do this. So if this is going to come off like that, right? So that's what it's going to look like. I'm not sure. All right, let me turn this upside down. I know you can't see it. But if it goes like this, right? Oh, wow, guys, that actually looks really good, and I can't show it to you. But that looks really, really cool. Let me see if I can set these down or hold them up or something to where they don't fall. And I'll bring the camera down for you. You know what? I got my drink here. So let me set that right there. And yeah, you're not going to get the best view, I have to admit. Okay, I'm gonna have to take you down and then show you. So hold on a second. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use these two because these are too small. Okay. I'm going to try and take you down. I just wish I had a way of holding this up. I don't have anything heavy enough that keeps this guy up. So let's just do that. Now, I should make this a surprise so you don't see it until it's done. But I'm excited. Okay. So, yeah, it's not set up the way it's supposed to be set up yet. Okay. Sorry about that. I lost you for a minute. I'm just trying to get this down to where you could see it. So it's not really good. I got to get the right mirrors. But it's going to look okay. I think it's going to look okay. So yes, it's a little surprise. Now I got to put all this stuff back. Okay, get rid of all this stuff. All right, so we have another one of these. We're going to cut this one in half. And we're going to turn this guy back around. I'm going to set these. See, I don't know if it'll be easier for me to cut it this way. But we're going to try it. Kind of, not kind of. I just can't cut a straight line for the life of me. Where's that other piece? Right here. Alright, let's just get this to 1.5 inches. And we'll see which one we end up liking better. Okay, so what did I say? Like this, right? Alright, I think we're going to use the ones that we did before. I think like cutting it the way I did before, standing up, was the smarter idea. Because by doing it sideways, see how it kind of, it misshaped it a little bit. And it made it more of a circle than I want. Okay, so we got this little hole right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, just right here, and I'm just going to make a real tiny little circle, or a triangle, whatever you want to call it. Whatever shape it ends up is what we're going to use. I just need to fill up that tiny little hole. Cut you in half. Now, can I add more elements to this? Yes. You can add as much elements as you want. This already is going to look really busy from what I saw in the mirror. It looked really busy. Okay. So there's that. Do the same with this guy. Okay, so if we don't want it really close to the flower, so that at least the flower's got a little bit of space, I'm going to move these guys out a little bit. Okay, so that's basically it. There's nothing going to be underneath this. So this is the bottom at that corner spot. So now what we're going to do is we need to build from there and over. So it's going to be an interesting triangle. It's going to be pretty big. Okay, so all I'm going to do is fill this up and then I'll come back. I don't want to bore you by filling it all. I know some of you don't mind the start to finish and stuff like that, but I don't know. I take a little longer than the average bear to do anything, so sometimes I feel like it's just easier if I do it. I won't make any changes, promise. I just want to fill all this up. And I'm shocked at how much clay that this project has actually taken. So this is going to be a number 0. Oh. Okay, so that's going to be that side, and we may do 2 layers. So I'm going to double layer this. And I know I haven't said goodbye yet. I figured for a couple more minutes I'll have you here. And I know we're not live. But I'm going to think like you guys. And say, do we want... If we had a black and white border, like just taking a black and white Skinner blend, okay, and then thinning it out and putting it on top. I feel like it'll be way too much black. I mean, we've got some black that's just sticking out right now, right? And it looks really good sticking out. But if I add any more black around, just because of the fact that I'm not used to making a white border around any cane, so it just feels funny to me. But maybe that's what I need to do, is kind of do things differently and stop getting or remaining in my comfort zone. And start coming up with some really cool stuff. Because I've been really tired of what I've been making lately. I don't think it's challenging me, so it's not challenging you. It's easier because you got a pretty good idea how it's going to turn out, right? But I want to be challenged. I want to grow, which is the problem I'm having with my glass beads. Everybody knows me because of certain beads that I make. That I'm boring myself. I mean, I love repetition. But I don't want to always be relying on the same things over and over again. And then you kind of learn something new every time you do something different. Okay, so I think we're okay for that piece right there. Okay. Okay, guys, so now all I'm going to do is fill this up. Again, when we get to this point right here where I have this little piece, I'm just going to take a thin strip. I'll do this really quick, but then I'm going to let you go while I fill it. Or, unless you want to talk, I can stay. And it's hard when I'm not live because I don't know what you guys are thinking. No, no, no. Don't quit. We want to see it, or, yeah, go. And I'll just forward through it. So you guys can tell me. Okay, so see, that's basically all we're going to be doing now. Okay, because we don't want to go past that. I may have to go anyways and just take a break and take the dogs for a walk, and then they'll kind of leave me alone for a little bit. Okay, so we don't want to go past that. Okay, so in order to do what I'm trying to do, see, and then you got to decide again, do we want these two to connect? So do we just leave this where it's at? Do I want to fill that white so that it looks like it's just one piece? Or do I want it to open up so that white will literally flow? Okay, so that's where the white's going to fit right there. Might have to be pushed up a little bit. Okay, so there's where we're at. So yeah, we're just going to have the white flow, and that way this doesn't look like it's closing something off. It's just going to look like it's flowing through. I will probably leave... I'll go the white up to here, and then I'll decide where I'm going to go from there, and that's when I'll come back. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this up right here. Okay. So just see how this is a little sticking out a little farther than the other one. See, you always find something. Yep, and I cannot take this apart. Okay, so that's going to be right there. Okay, so let me go ahead and fill it up to this point, and then I'll decide if I leave the outside black by putting the mirror back against it, or if I want to add that white border to where it's going to be, each square will pretty much be separate without anything flowing in the other side. Because these may be sticking too far, I don't know, too far out or not. But let me go ahead and fill this up, and then I'll come back and we'll finish the rest. Alrighty guys, we are back and we are ready to fill up the top. So, I put this together and it was really hard to see how it was going to look. But I honestly think I'm going to close all this up with white. I'm just going to take a white from here and come all the way up and just fill all this. So, that's what we're going to do real quick. And now it's just basically, you know, doing this. And you can do it all in 3 big pieces or whatever, but I'm doing it small just to make sure that it's packed in there really good. Now, I did learn something from Meg Newberg. When she has a cane to pack, she'll usually use a block of white, right? And she'll cut straight from that block. That's pretty smart. I mean, really smart. I didn't do that on this one. And I didn't even think about it literally until just now, but it was just a really smart way of doing it. I think it makes it a lot easier. You know, so you're basically just taking your block of clay and kind of looking how you want to lay it, and then you know kind of where to cut it, and you just like cut little angles off the corners, of your clay pieces, or not your clay pieces, of your clay block, and you get this nice perfect end on everything that you do. So I'm going to try and remember that for the next time. It's a little too late for me to do that now, I think, because we are almost done. Okay, so I want to keep this because that's what's going to go across the top. So I should only need a little more clay, and then I'm going to need one for the side. So I'm off camera kind of just cutting into clay. I just hate how hard this is sometimes for me, just to get a grip of anything. And I don't need a whole lot more. Okay, so we're going to run this at the thickest because it'll be the easiest. And then before we reduce, I'll let it sit for a little bit, which really might be silly to just let it sit, but I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to take my animals out for their daily walk and get out myself. Alright, so I know I've got little holes and stuff over here, but I don't need this much. I need about 1.5 inches. Okay, and this is just going to go literally from here to the top. So if that's going to be our top, we just need it right there. I won't put this on until the end anyways. Okay. Alright, so now I know where I basically just got to fill the rest of it in. We don't want to cover these because we do want these to connect to all the other ones. So basically, just by looking at that, I just need 2 triangles. It's about a 3-inch triangle. And that should be it. So this, I guess, would be considered like a master cane. So I know a lot of people make the Kaleidoscope canes, right? But this is making a cane that you can use just like this on its own, or you can create, you know, a bigger cane. But I know that it can also be used by taking a bunch of completed canes like this and combining them all, which one day I really hope I have the guts to try, because I'd really like to do that. Okay, so see how that is. So I'm going to kind of do her thingamajigger, and I'm going to cut this edge off. Oh, Bandit, Jake, give it a rest. I keep calling the poor dog Bandit. I feel so bad for doing that. But he still looks like him. Okay. Well, it didn't work exactly as planned, but it kind of helped a little bit, I guess. And we're just going to have to put a little bit of piece right there. All right. right here. Okay, so I just got that little piece right there that needs to be done. And I really want to put this on its side. I keep getting a phone call and it's spam risk, so I'm not even going to answer. I'm so tired of them. Alright, so this one maybe just needs that right there. Alright. Okay, and we needed the same on this side. Gonna add a little bit more. So we're going to cut a little bit off this back end here. A little more. That's got a lot more room compared to that one. But it just might be the shape of that. All right. Okay, so we're just gonna squish this. Let me take this off really quick. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of get it into the shape that we need, right? Okay, so now we need to just fill this up. So now we just need a bunch of little lines. Okay. So we all want it about 1.5 inches tall. Okay, we're just going to do some strips here, like right here. And that should be good. And then we just need to fill in these little holes. So this I'm just going to make a log. I was thinking of putting, like I said, one of these over here. But then I think it would have just been way too much. So I didn't. Gonna make this a little thicker. There we go. Make a little thin edge. And then straight bottom. And then remember, before we put this top on, that we're peeking at the other side, right? Okay, so that's full right there. Got a big one right here to do. I don't know if this is too small. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna take this, put it in the center, and then absolutely need to look at the other side because I don't like the way that's fitting in there. And now let's see what happens when we put this all together. So I want that to connect. Right. And then we're going to put that over there. Okay guys, there is our cane today. Alright, so what did I promise I would do before I left? Gonna check the other side. And it looks pretty good. I mean, there's like a little piece right here, but I am really not worried about this tiny little area right here. But just to be safe, I'll grab a knitting needle. And I'm just going to shove that in that hole, just like that. Okay. But that's pretty much the only one we really had to worry about. So not a huge cane. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. But that's it. So now the fun part comes from reducing it. So we're going to show you the cane for now. And obviously we need this 6 pieces. So we have about 1.5 inch. We got about, oh, I don't know, a little over 4 inches. If I do it at 1.5, if I go to 2-inch pieces, or if I go 1 inch, it'll be 6 inches that I need. If I go 1.5, that's going to be 9. So I don't know. What scares me is how much waste I'm going to have and what's left of the cane. These are not something that I normally sell because of the fact that I waste so much cane. But we're going to reduce this And we'll be back when we're ready to cut into it. So I'll talk to you then, guys. Bye. Alrighty, guys. We're ready to cut. So I made this 12 inches. So I can make my pieces 2 inches a piece. Okay, and then we have to reduce it again. It's cute, but I have a feeling it's going to be really busy when we put it together. That one is not matching. There we go. I don't know if I'm liking the white. I may end up wrapping it with black. Okay. This one's stuck. Okay. Alright, doesn't want to stick to it, which is weird. Sticks to everything else until you try and put it together. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. Can't say I've never had a cane that didn't stick. Just wants to keep coming apart. Okay, so that's our cane. Makita keeps following me everywhere I go, and I don't know why. She thinks I'm going to clean the kitchen. I walk in there, I clean the kitchen. And she followed me in here. She expects to get like leftovers or something. Unfortunately, she's already had her treat. Alright guys, what do you think? Should I leave it all white? Or should I put a black border around it? I do kind of like the black border. But I'm going to leave it. This is how I'm going to end the video. I'm just going to cut one slice off. And I'm going to let you guys tell me if I should wrap it in white. Or I'm sorry, black. Yeah. When you're not used to finishing in white, it's hard to look at it and like it. So I'm not really sure. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone. And try and cut a nice slice out of it. Might not happen. So please tell me what you think, and we'll talk to you later.